Videa works mostly with local television stations, right?
Solely right now, yes.
Solely, okay.
Yeah.
And obviously what you guys are trying to do really is about the aggregation of their inventory so that it's more sellable and more valuable to a marketplace.
Correct, yes.
So we just had a panel together, which was great, and you just mentioned a little bit about like some of the business challenges now that like spot TV is really struggling. Tell me about where they are at a point in time as a market.
Yeah, I feel like spot TV still exists, certainly. What we've seen is a lot of revenue leave spot TV and go into digital. Now that's true of a lot of different mediums. Money is moving to these different avenues. In spot TV, we've seen it happen for a long time. When I started in spot TV in 1995, the death knell for TV was heard constantly. It was VCRs were going to be, and cable was going to be, and DVD players and DVRs. I don't think there's anything that is anytime soon going to kill local broadcast TV, but a lot of revenue has left to go to places that people deem to be more efficient, and especially in smaller markets. So when you're a marketer, an agency, an advertiser, and you're spending money in local broadcast, when I first started, if there was a buy that went down, it went into 85, 100 markets, every buy. And now it's the top 10 or the top 15, maybe the top 20, because it's just as expensive to put a buy together physically for a buyer and a rep and a station for market ranked 175 as it is for market ranked 5. And so the amount of money changing hands in market rank 175, they don't deem it worthwhile to put that kind of effort into that small of a budget. And yet that's the best targeting you can get if you're hitting an audience in a place that is that much more targeted.
So it's interesting. It's almost like what I'm hearing from you is we've sort of flipped the market. It's not bottom up, it's top down now.
Yes.
We need to aggregate, and then there's micro targeting and micro segments. That's the way we're buying today.
Yeah, the thing that drives me crazy is when I hear that but an agency is taking a budget and they're spending it in network cable. So like I live in Manhattan, I live in New York City, and every time I'm watching cable TV and it goes to break, in every pod there's a Sonic commercial. The closest Sonic to me is 34 miles away, and I am not going to take a bus to a train to a cab to go get a corn dog at Sonic. And yet they're advertising on network cable. And I know that there are lots of places in the country where Sonics don't exist at all, but they're buying national cable. And I get the reason why. They're covering the country, they're covering the areas where there are Sonics. But if they focus that advertising on spot in the markets where they have 21 or 30 or 40 Sonic locations, isn't that a better spend? It's a better, certainly targeted spend for them, for the consumer that they're going after, someone who can easily get to a Sonic. So
is it really, so I guess I always go back and forth between EQ and IQ, right? So is it really that it's just too hard and it's too resource intense to buy spot anymore? Or is it that like inherently we're just lazy and TV's been really easy? It's reach and frequency, fish with a net, you're gonna catch as much, right? I mean, what does your gut tell you?
Yeah, I mean, my gut tells me that there's a balance. Somewhere in there, there's a balance. And that, you know, we call it broadcast, and I love this. Someone said this to me a couple months ago, and I thought it was great. It's broad. I mean, the word is in there, right? So we're casting a wide net with a broadcast product. At the same time, within that broad audience in any given market, there are pockets of the people you want to reach. But whereas on a national buy, you can find the pockets that meet any criteria, on a local buy in a local market, you might not find enough people that meet your criteria for it to be worth it in that market. Or you might find a much higher concentration than you would nationally.
Right.
So spot TV, by its very nature that it is localized, there's a value there that you can't get when you're doing anything that is national, or certainly when you're doing a one-to-one that is digital. Yep. And so it's that there's a value there, and yet I feel like I've been in it for 22 years now. We are, the spot TV stations are sort of like the last ones to get called up to the buffet, where national goes first, and that's on the upfronts and the scatter market, and then now digital is getting a much faster look at a buyer's budget than is spot TV, sort of like, you know, the unwanted stepchild.
Right.
And yet, if you look at the way that media buys are happening, the kind of targeting people want, how could local, one single market be looked at as less than national, where it's sort of like throw it at the wall and everybody sees it?
Yep, I think that is a great articulation and a call to action. So
thank you.
Thank you, Archie.
Thank you.